kind of goofed out about Marvel, let's talk a little bit about you guys.
That should probably tell you a lot about us, though, just
There
with
you
that
go.
Marvel conversation.
I know, right? All three of us. But HR Social Hour, you guys are at a really pivotal moment in creating this beautiful podcast. Now, I know you both individually told your stories about how you met. Now that you're together, just share with everyone like how you guys met and how you created HR Social Hour.
You want to start, Wendy?
Sure. So, it's funny because the original tweet where we kind of came up with that the chat popped up. Well, it would have been in June of this year. It popped up as a memory, and so, that was almost 5 years ago. 4.5 years ago now. And I know Jon did some digging to find the first time we interacted together on Twitter, which was even longer ago. So Jon and I met on Twitter. We have some weird opportunities where we could have met in person before that. We were both in Richmond, Virginia at the same time. I lived there for a number of years. But just didn't cross paths. Richmond's a big city.
Yeah.
But yeah, we met on Twitter. And then in 2016, we were at the National SHRM Conference in DC at the same time. Mm-hmm. Ran into each other at the expo hall, which again, that's kind of random for the two of us to run into each other there. But everyone knows Jon's a big guy. He's hard to miss if you see him standing anywhere. But the best part was when I got on the elevator in my hotel the next morning, Jon was there. Mm-hmm. So we happened to be at the same hotel. And so we walked to the conference together that morning and the next morning, and were able to, chat and connect, and had a great time, great conversations as we were walking. And, that was awesome. And then when the next year came around and neither one of us was going to the conference, that's when Social Hour was born, when we both had FOMO.
We launched, so we started with the initial chats not tied to the national conference in June of 17. And I really enjoyed it. Wendy really enjoyed it. We had like 60 people show up from 9 countries, which was mind-blowing to us that many people. And it was funny because we were getting notes the next day about, hey, you're on the big boards, which is the social media boards at the event. But you're all on the big boards. You're not even here. That's kind of bananas. And so we did June and July or August or so. I'm like, Wendy, that was really fun. Why don't we do this again? Because it was cool and we had fun doing it. And it's an alternative to the other things that were out there. So we launched Social Hour. It was the HR Social Hour was the one good tag at the time that we thought of. We've always said if we had it to do over again, we might go with HR Super Friends, but we're not rebranding this far in. So we launched Social Hour, and we're doing once a month, fourth Sunday of the month, and we were getting some traction there. Did 3 or 4, and I called Wendy. She was at a national event, and I was driving from Richmond to Pittsburgh for work. And had a lot of, I was on speakerphone, so don't worry, I wasn't too distracted. But we're talking, and I've been very open about, I've been podcasting for a long time. I'm a huge fan of the medium, but I've been podcasting just fun stuff, 80s, which is why, yes, if you want to hear me talk about obscure other stuff, you can go listen to the other show I'm on. But I told Wendy, I said, look, I really want to do a podcast about what we do, but I want it to be different. Mm-hmm. And I want to have a co-host. Would you be interested in that? Because I really like what we're doing with this chat, and I think it's just the next thing we could try.
Yeah.
And so we talked about it, and that's where we came up with the concept of kind of the tenets of the show being, about the power of connection and giving back, if it's to the HR community at large, and ultimately the power of your network. And those would be kind of, how do we focus on those things and make it about the people? Mm-hmm. So we said, okay, we'll interview people from the chat. Well, that makes sense, right? We'll just talk to our friends that are on the chat.
Yeah.
So that was January of 18. We hit the record button for the first time. That was with our pal Steve Brown. So I figured we'll start with somebody everybody knows.
Yes.
That'd be a good way to start. Then we can have these other people that maybe you don't know, or maybe we're not going to have everybody on that level, because we didn't want that. We wanted to talk to our friends. And let's face it, there are amazing people out there doing amazing things for each other, for their businesses, for their, whoever the communities they serve. There's a lot of people out there doing cool stuff, and we ought to know about it. So lo and behold, we started talking to all these different people that were part of our community, and it just kind of steamrolled. And we said, okay, we'll do 50. Yeah, that'd be cool. Knowing the average show lasts 10 episodes. Well, that was January of 18. It is now December of 21.
Yeah.
We're getting ready to release our numbered episode 200 on December 23rd.
Yes.
And it'll be our 265th or 6th total show that we've put out since 2018.
Wow.